I have 5 updates for you about ongoing conflicts in Ethiopia. Firstly, we'll talk about Gashina front, where reportedly a TDF general has appeared who was claimed to be in the custody of Ethiopian government. Secondly, Aganeho Tishagar, Amhara regional president, has spoken with ETV. He has threatened that those Qemant members who are collaborating with TDF will be punished. Thirdly, UN is accusing Ethiopian government of putting in place a de facto humanitarian blockade of Tigray. Fourthly, Obasanjo, newly appointed mediator to resolve Tigray conflict by African Union, seems to be approaching TPLF through the US. And lastly, Ethiopian National Defense Forces have arrived in those areas where fighting was underway between Somalis and Afars. We'll talk about that. Firstly, viewers, General Masho Bijine has appeared on Gashina front. But 3 days ago, some Amhara news sources claimed that General Masho Bijine had been arrested by Ethiopian forces and he was trying to enter Benishangul Gumuz region. He was going there to incite insurgency and rebellion, but he was arrested while he was trying to enter Benishangul Gumuz region. But today, General Masho Bijine appeared on Gashina front. He has not been arrested. Earlier, we heard rumors about General Kabbede Figado that he had been killed near Voldia. He also appeared on Gashina front. We have seen pictures, videos from Gashina showing TDF officers, TDF generals, TDF soldiers in Gashina. We did see a video of ENDF officials in Gashina more than a week ago. After that, TDF fighters shared their pictures, videos from Gashina. It seems that Tigray Defense Force is in Gashina because over the past 3 to 4 days we haven't seen anything from Ethiopian National Defense Force or Amhara Force that they are in Gashina. Gashina seems to be under Tigray Defense Force, but Ethiopian National Defense Force, Amhara forces are trying to retake Gashina. Secondly, viewers, Aganeho Tishagar just an hour ago spoke with ETV. He threatened that those Qemant ethnic group members who are collaborating with TPLF will be punished. Now, how will you decide who is cooperating, who is colluding with TDF? We have seen Tigrayans victimized in Ethiopia. They are being accused of having ties with TPLF. Instead of sending a message to an entire ethnic group, I think Aganeho Tishagar should only target those Qemant fighters who are fighting in the battlefield. Otherwise, this entire community could go against Amhara regional government. Thirdly, UN has issued a statement. UN's humanitarian acting chief says that Tigray is under a de facto humanitarian blockade. He says that since the 23rd of August, no aid has arrived in Tigray. And since the start of July, till today, only 7 to 9% of the total required aid has entered Tigray. Tigray is on the verge of famine. An alarming statement, viewers. Before this statement, we saw Jeffrey Feltman, US envoy to the Horn of Africa, holding a meeting with Antonio Guterres, UN Secretary General. US Aid Chief Samantha Power has been holding meetings with UN officials as well. She held a meeting with Pekka Haavisto, Finnish Foreign Minister. So, US officials have been putting pressure upon the UN that UN must do something, but UN Security Council is divided, because we know that in the previous session of the UN Security Council, no joint statement could be issued. Russia, China, India, Kenya, they backed Ethiopian government's narrative. Americans were on one side, Russia, China, India, and Kenya were on the other side. So nothing is expected from the international community, but the US could take some unilateral actions. Is the US preparing ground for unilateral action by making UN officials issue such statements that Tigray is under a de facto humanitarian blockade? Are we going to see US taking any action against Ethiopian government? I think US is considering more sanctions. In the coming days, we could see some punitive measures from the US. US sent Samantha Power first to speed up the delivery of aid to Tigray. Then it sent Jeffrey Feltman. Both US officials could not meet with PM Abiy. PM Abiy snubbed both US officials. Then US and Ireland requested a UN Security Council session. Nothing came from the session as well. Today, UN issued a statement saying that Tigray is under a blockade, humanitarian blockade. I think the US might announce some restrictive measures against Ethiopian government in coming days. Fourthly, viewers, Obasanjo, newly appointed mediator by African Union, is trying to approach TPLF through the US. He firstly held a meeting with Samantha Power, US Aid Chief. Today he held a conversation with Linda Thomas Greenfield, US envoy to the UN. Obasanjo has not held any meeting with TPLF leaders. He has not contacted TPLF leaders so far. He has not contacted Ethiopian government as well. But his first contact has been with US officials. He's becoming controversial as well, but he's trying to reach TPLF through the US. Lastly, viewers, Ethiopian National Defense Force units have arrived in those areas where fighting was underway between Afars and Somalis. I informed you about ongoing fighting between the two regional militias in some areas on Afar Somali border. Then we saw a telephonic conversation between Djibouti and Ethiopia. Ethiopian PM Abiy Ahmed telephonically contacted Djibouti's President Ismail Guliye. Djibouti was being accused by Afar fighters that Djibouti was backing Somali fighters. We saw clashes in Djibouti as well. So now it seems that Ethiopian government has decided to intervene. That is why Ethiopian National Defense Force units have been sent to the place in order to resolve this ongoing conflict between Afars and Somalis? I think.